All right. Good evening and welcome to the 5 p.m. Tulsa City Council meeting. You can view this meeting on our Facebook page, our YouTube channel, Cox Channel 24, or at TGov Online. Assisting the council tonight are Jack Blair, City Attorney, Lori Doring, Secretary to the Council, and Chris Boffman, Council staff. If you wish to speak on an agenda item, please see Chris to complete a request to speak card prior to that item being read. You will not be allowed to speak on any item that has already been read. Please join us in pledging allegiance to our flag and remain standing for a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, we have some proclamations for years of service, and then we have a proclamation for National Safe Place Week that Councilor Hall Harper will present. So, Councilor Bellis, will you join me in our years of service? Last time, so you get to read this time.
Okay, you do all the handing.
Yep, I get to read it.
All right. Good evening, everyone. The City of Tulsa has an incredible team of over 3,500 public servants dedicated to making all aspects of city government run smoothly. Each month, the City Council is pleased to recognize some of these exceptional public servants who have committed decades of their lives in their career with the city. And we're hiring if anyone else in the room wants to dedicate years of their life too. And whereas those employees have dedicated years of service to the city of Tulsa, its officials and its citizens, and therefore we, Mayor Monroe Nichols and the Tulsa City Council, do hereby express our sincerest appreciation for these employees' years of hard work, dedication, and continued service to the city of Tulsa and its citizens. And in witness thereof, we hereby set our hands on this 11th day of March 2026, and that is what is on all of these beautiful certificates. So we'll be calling folks up one at a time. You'll get to shake hands, get this proclamation. We have an envelope with a pin. We'll go over to the middle to take a picture with you. I know photo ops. There will be paparazzi. So when your name is called, please come to the front to receive your recognition. And up first, oh, she just walked in. Karen D. Tipler, police for 35 years of service. Okay, and now we have Michelle Williard, Water and Sewer for 30 years of service. Alex M. Brown, Asset Management for 20 years of service. All right. Is it Nick? Nakia. And if it's Nakia, you let us know. Good, Nakia. All right, Nakia S. Welch from Finance, also for 20 years of service. All right. Rhonda J. Foster, Water and Sewer for 20 years of service. Van P. Sears, Water and Sewer for 20 years of service. Last one. Okay. All right. This is from the same department, Water and Sewer. So just mentioning to everyone that that's clearly the place to be. All right. Allison B. Webb, Water and Sewer for 20 years of service. Many employees who are receiving their Years of Service Award this month could not be here tonight. We would also like to acknowledge their contributions to the city. For 35 years of service, Lee M. Buser with the police and Linda J. Upton also with the police. And for 20 years of service, Julie A. Miller with finance, Joshua B. Goldstein with the police, and Paula G. Powers with water and sewer. You can just take a moment to thank them. The continued growth of the city of Tulsa is a direct result of the valued employees that serve our city 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They're a true representation of service, excellence, loyalty, and commitment. Their work does not go unnoticed, and their many sacrifices are truly appreciated. And I especially want to thank everyone who's been part of responding and cleanup from the storm that we had recently. Thank you all so much.
Okay. Next, we have a proclamation for National Safe Place Week. And there she is. Come on in. Come on down. Okay, we want to recognize National Safe Place Week. I'm going to give you that. With the proclamation, then this is larger so I can read it. Is there anyone else that come with you? Okay. All right, National Safe Place Week proclamation. Whereas Safe Place, a national outreach and prevention program for youth in need of immediate help and safety, has operated in the city of Tulsa and surrounding areas since 1991. And whereas National Safe Place Week is an opportunity to nationally recognize more than 22,000 businesses and organizations, as well as thousands of volunteers who give their time, resources, and energy to make our country a safer place for young people. And whereas in the Tulsa area, Safe Place is operated by Youth Services of Tulsa and has provided shelter, access to more than 5,600 youth, making safety readily available to these youth in crises. And whereas the Tulsa community has many businesses that have charitably opened their doors to offer Safe Place and Safe Place trained employees, including Quick Trip, Tulsa City County Library, Tulsa Glass Blowing School, MedWise Urgent Care, Tulsa Transit, IMSA, and the Tulsa Fire Department. And whereas the city of Tulsa is grateful to have Safe Place operating in our community, supporting our future generation with the opportunity for free access to qualified and compassionate assistance to work through a crisis situation. Now, therefore, we, the mayor and the city of Tulsa, and the Tulsa City Council do hereby proclaim the week of March 15th through the 21st, 2026, as National Safe Place Week. In witness thereof, we hereby set our hands on the 11th day of March 2026. Thank you so much for all the work that you all do. I really appreciate it. Yes, we're going to take a picture. Come on down.
All right, people wishing to speak on agenda items are limited to 5 minutes total per meeting. Public input is a time for members of the public to provide insight on the agenda item. Due to the meeting format, public input is not a time for a question and answer period. All comments should be relevant to the agenda item and directed to the council. We're using an electronic timing system in front of the speakers at the microphone. There's a timer that will count down the time used. A green light indicates your time is running. A yellow light will come on when you have 30 seconds remaining. A blinking red light will show that your time has concluded. We ask that you stay within your time limit so everyone wishing to speak is given equal time. Thank you. Please keep the podium area, railings, and aisles free from recording devices and tripods. Recording equipment and accessories, including tripods, must be set up in the media center. As posted on tonight's agenda, certain items are subject to consideration, possible approval, adoption, denial, amendment, or revision. I call this meeting to order. Lori, will you please call the roll?
Counselor Hall Harper.
Here.
Counselor Archie.
Here.
Counselor Dutton.
Here.
Counselor Bellis.
Here.
Counselor Gilbert. Counselor Bengal.
Here.
Counselor Dr. Wright.
Here.
Counselor Lakin.
Here.
Counselor Bush.
Here.
All right. Item number 1, receipt and filing of minutes. Item A, minutes of regular meeting held at 4 p.m. on February 11th, 2026, and minutes of regular meeting held at 5 p.m. on February 11th, 2026. Do we have any speakers?
We have no speakers.
Any council discussion?
Move to approve items 1A and B.
Second.
Lori, will you please call the roll?
Counselor Dr. Wright?
Yes.
Counselor Lakin?
Yes.
Counselor Bush?
Yes.
Counselor Hall Harper?
Yes.
Counselor Archie?
Yes.
Counselor Dutton?
Yes.
Counselor Bellis?
Yes.
Counselor Bengal?
Yes. Item 2, appointments and reappointments. A, Kayla Lee, appointment to the Tulsa Preservation Commission. B, Jackie DuPont, appointment to the Tulsa Women's Commission. C, Majesty, sorry, I apologize completely. Appointment to the Tulsa Arts Commission, Corey Taylor, and I'm glad you all corrected me on that. Appointment to the Tulsa Arts Commission, Kate Neary. Reappointment to the Tulsa Women's Commission, Cheryl Cohenauer. Reappointment to the Greater Tulsa Area Indian Affairs Commission, and Terrell Siegfried. Reappointment to the Tulsa Area Economic Opportunity. Do we have any speakers?
We have one speaker on items 2A through G, Mr. John Huffines.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sirs and ma'ams. Thank you. Yes, peace. Yes, peace. I'm thankful for our honorable leaders, the Honorable Council Chair Karen Gilbert, the Honorable Acting Vice Chair Christian Bengal, Honorable Councilors, staff, team, and security. We are thankful to the citizens of this great city of love, Tulsa, Oklahoma. It is a joy to be with you on this 11th day of March in the year of our loving Lord Jesus Christ, 2026. Appointments and reappointments. A, Kayla Lee. B, Jackie DuPont. C, Majesty Pearson. Appointment to the Tulsa Arts Commission. Years ago, the Honorable Reverend Carlton Pearson, Majesty's father, and I had the opportunity to share this space together. And more recently, Majesty's aunt, Antanya, and my lovely wife and I enjoyed singing and sharing a stage together in Branson, Missouri. My wife and I were honored. Majesty will be a gift to the Tulsa Arts Commission. Yes. As has been said before, Holy Spirit, we welcome you into the Tulsa Arts Commission. D, Corey Taylor. E, Kate Neary. F, Cheryl Cohenauer. G, Terrell Siegfried. Thank you. May we continue to honor and give thanks for our employees and volunteers. Thank you, family.
Thank you, Mr. Huffines. Chris, were there any other speakers?
There are no more speakers.
Is there any council discussion?
All right, move to approve items 2A through G.
Second.
Lori, will you please call the roll?
Counselor Lakin?
Yes.
Counselor Bush?
Yes.
Counselor Hall Harper?
Yes.
Counselor Archie?
Yes.
Counselor Dutton?
Yes.
Counselor Bellis?
Yes.
Counselor Bengal?
Yes. All right. All these appointees are now appointed. Do we have, I see Cheryl here and I see Majesty. Would you like to come up and say a couple of words? You don't have to. You don't have to. If you want to, please.
Well, I just would like to extend my gratitude for the opportunity to join you all and all of the beautiful missions that the Arts Commission has already launched. And thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Well,
Yep,
thank you
ready
for
to go.
serving.
Let's do it.
Thank you for serving. Cheryl, same to you. And to our other commissioners. Is there anybody else here? Come on, Cheryl.
No, and Kayla's right here too.
Oh, Kayla, yes, absolutely. Are you sure? Okay, all right, thank you. All right, item 3, public hearing for the purposes of giving members of the public an opportunity to be heard to any vote on the proposed second amended downtown area economic development project plan. Is there a motion to enter public hearings?
I move to enter public hearing.
Second.
Lori, will you please call the roll?
Counselor Dr. Wright?
Yes.
Counselor Lakin?
Yes.
Counselor Bush?
Yes.
Counselor Hall Harper?
Yes.
Counselor Archie?
Yes.
Counselor Dutton?
Yes.
Counselor Bellis?
Yes.
Counselor Bengal?
Yes. All right. Chris, how many speakers do we have?
We have 8 speakers.
8 speakers. All right, call the first speaker, please.
Our first speaker is Reverend David Wiggs.
Good evening.
Good evening. Counselors, great to be here. I'm David Wiggs, former senior pastor at Boston Avenue United Methodist Church, now Chief Advancement Officer working on development issues on behalf of the church. Our 8,000 member church is a longtime part of the Cathedral District. We've been active years ago when the Cathedral District was first organized and working with stakeholders there. We've been a part of reconvening that group. We've been part of the work that Downtown Tulsa Partnership's been leading in terms of the pre-development master plan. We are definitely in favor of this proposal and think it'll be pivotal in spurring development in our part of downtown. Since the city first announced that housing was the #1 need in the city several years ago, we've had a task force researching how we could be a part of that solution to that, how we could participate in providing affordable and attainable housing for citizens of Tulsa. Just recently, we've been able to issue an RFP on 2 possible sites where we believe housing could be developed and built, focusing on the workforce part of kind of that AMI structure that you're probably familiar with. We believe if you all would adopt this proposal, that it not only would make our project much more viable going forward, but really could spur great development in the whole part of downtown. I'm sure everyone's familiar with all the parking lots. It would be great to not only have parking, but also to have housing, to have businesses, to have services, have other amenities in that part of the city, and we hope to be a part of that. We think this idea of the public-private funding of such development is a key to making all that come together. We really want to help build a more vital neighborhood with more people and more services and more businesses that can benefit the city and all of its residents. We think it will be more livable if this part of the city does get developed, that it will strengthen the economy of the city, that it will improve public safety, that it will increase amenities and services. So we ask for your support. We believe in this proposal. We think it's a step in the right direction. Thank you for your time and attention.
Thank you. Chris, call our next speaker, please.
The next speaker is Jim Stevens.
Good evening.
Afternoon, councilors. My name is Jim Stevens. I've been a Tulsa resident since 1990 and involved in the commercial real estate business since the mid-90s to now. I did take 6.5 years during that period to be part of the Board of Adjustment, and I have to say I enjoyed that, but I appreciate your time here and the time you have to spend to do this. I'm here to urge you to vote yes for the development for the 2 TIF districts in support of the Philcade redevelopment project. I've seen a lot of projects come and go, but I haven't seen one that's this organized and this put together as well as what these guys are doing. These guys, I mean, by American Residential and Morris Atlas. They're 2 very expensive, well-known people, 115 apartments, 125 hotel rooms. Does nothing but help downtown Tulsa, help the city of Tulsa, the citizens of Tulsa, and I just think that, with 10 boutique hotels that Morris and Atlas have developed, numerous American Residential Apartments, the largest apartment holder and manager in downtown Tulsa, I really don't see how it can fail, frankly. They're so organized in everything they're doing. So the new addition would be welcome to the city, I would think, and especially to that area of downtown Tulsa. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Chris, will you call our next speaker, please?
Next speaker is Andrew Mungle.
Good evening.
Good evening, councilors. Appreciate your time. My name is Andrew Mungle, and I'm actually here speaking on behalf of Paul Corey. Many of you may know Paul is the owner and developer of one of the longest standing and most highly regarded hotels in Tulsa, the Ambassador Hotel, and we're here to strongly support this measure. From a market perspective, this project is frankly good for every hotel in Tulsa. One of our biggest challenges as a market is attracting larger conventions, corporate meetings, and midweek group business. That business requires high quality room supply. A project like this helps solve that problem and strengthens our ability to compete as a convention and events destination. When Tulsa attracts more group and convention demand, it benefits the entire hotel market, including our hotel. In that sense, this project truly is a rising tide that lifts all boats and is a perfect complement to our new convention hotel. Speaking from a development standpoint, projects like this are extremely complex. Project costs, timelines, availability of financing, cost of financing, all these things make it incredibly difficult to do a project of this scale and complexity. Without meaningful incentives, something like this just frankly won't get done. I think it's also important to remember that many of the past hotel developments in the city have benefited from public incentives that frankly are no longer available today, such as the Oklahoma Tourism Development Act, which supported many major hotel projects in city. And we feel that the proposed TIF helps fill that gap and allows for this project to move forward. Beyond the economics, the broader benefits are clear. This development restores one of Tulsa's most important downtown buildings, and frankly is a catalyst for redevelopment in that entire area, for the Deco district, for the multifamily that's coming in, to make Tulsa a more vibrant place to live and to work and to play and to visit and create a further destination for the city. We understand that there's been some opposition to this proposal, but we believe that this kind of investment really strengthens Tulsa's hospitality industry, and this project is great for the city, for the citizens, and great for the industry. We strongly support this initiative, and we appreciate your time.
Chris, will you call our next speaker, please?
Next speaker is Jeffrey Tannenhouse.
Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Jeffrey Tannenhouse. I'm a downtown resident, but I'm not from Oklahoma. I moved here 10 years ago from New York City, and I started a small business called Tulsa Tours. And it's exactly what it sounds like. We lead walking tours of the history and architecture here downtown. In 2020, peak pandemic, I opened a storefront at 511 South Boston Avenue, which is the Philcade building. And from the base of the Philcade, I have watched the Deco district struggle through the pandemic and after it. Businesses are still closing. Restaurants, the coffee shop next to me, and soon the ice cream shop around the corner. Fortunately for us, tourism is booming, and this year we expect to welcome our 15,000th guest at Tulsa Tours. But the most frequently asked question I get on tours is it always this dead here? And that was the same question I had 10 years ago when I first visited, is where are all the people? The Philcade is an incredible opportunity to turn the Deco district into a destination and add much needed vibrancy to this iconic street downtown. We're not building Art Deco anymore, so let's renovate what we have, because a transformed Philcade can be a driver of cultural tourism to Tulsa. Thank you.
Thank you. Chris, call our next speaker.
Our next speakers are James Alexander and Jr. and Bernice Alexander.
Evening, Mr. Alexander.
Good evening, everyone. Hey, I have a different take than everyone else. I have an open question. It doesn't have to be answered. How far north does downtown go? I've heard to Pine and I've heard to 36th Street. That's just an open question. Now, hasn't the Crest building received some money before to renovate it? I think it has. I'm not sure, but I think it has. When you look at downtown, just like the previous speaker said, it's dead. It's dead as a doornail. But yet you have stuff around it that could work the city up, and that would be Greenwood. That would be the best marketing for Tulsa, Oklahoma. Rebuilding of Greenwood. Not just play with it, just put a name down there for a few blocks, but to redevelopment like it was. And we're looking for an economic engine for the cathedral area. But like was said, there's nothing down there. And if I would come to Tulsa and move there for a couple of days, I would be sadly upset. I would be hotly upset because there would be nothing to do. I'd have to get in my car and go find something to do. And what is it to do in Tulsa? I don't bar hop, so that would be out. We're going to have to find something to bring people here and keep them here.
Thank you, Mr. Alexander. Ms. Bernice? Ms. Bernice, are you, Chris, is Ms. Bernice a separate speaker from Mr. Alexander, or did they sign the same card?
They both signed up separately.
Okay.
I will pass.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Alexander. All right. Chris, call our next speaker.
Next speaker is John Gabarino.
Good evening.
Good evening, councilors and everybody. I just wanted to come and give my support for the TIF and the experience. I've been trying to make Tulsa better and trying to make downtown better for well over 20 years. I had a coffee shop at the bottom of the Philcade, and I can attest for the challenges that F&B have had to go through over the last 6 years since the pandemic. Our volume I think most F&B can attest, there are anomalies, but in general are down anywhere between 20 and 40% in sales, just because people don't come downtown for office as much as they used to. The solution, I think, in the long term is that rather than being the central business district, that we become the central entertainment district. That is what one of our consultants that the city has hired in the past has recommended, and that avenue includes having people live downtown, having hotel space, convention center that I hope we figure out a solution for. All of those things are the best chance that we have for continuing to trying to get back to where we were in 2019 in the sense of the energy, financial, and human capital in downtown. So I just wanted to give my support for the project. I've also renovated, we just finished a renovation of a 110,000 square foot old building that the Gradient's in. We used multiple avenues of funding to make it work. It's very difficult to make the economics work on restoring old buildings. It doesn't work without support. And I absolutely 100% feel that is a core representation as much as the culinary that a city is known for. The buildings and the architecture is a core part of the history of what we have and should be proud of. And the Philcade is definitely one of those that we need to invest in. So thanks.
Thank you. Chris, unless my math is incorrect, can you call our final speaker?
We actually have two more speakers.
See, I told you my math was bad. Go ahead, call the next one.
Next speaker is Luke Lifesti, followed by Susan Nichols.
Must have counted one finger too many times. How many?
Good evening.
I
This is
was
actually
right.
my first time speaking at a city council meeting, but I'm very passionate about this.
Good.
So, Yes, I'm definitely coming out in support of this TIF, and specifically this Philcade project just is very exciting to me. I'm a native Tulsan, grew up here, moved away for 12 years in New York. I moved back, and I have a special appreciation for when Tulsa has really visionary, ambitious projects that are both creative and artistic. And I think if you think about some of the civic projects that have had the biggest impact on Tulsa, for example, the Gathering Place, the BOK Center, bringing in Caesar Pelli, bringing in Michael Van Valkenburg for the Gathering Place, those are the destinations that have really moved the needle for us as a city. And even looking back to Wade Phillips and Philbrook and the Phil Tower, these are things that have defined our city's identity and really shaped who we are. And this Philcade renovation feels like it's in the same vein as those projects, something that has ambitious, creative, and artistic vision that can make a huge impact for Tulsa. And I think, as many people have stated, this Deco district is struggling, and I believe as someone who's lived in a big city and seen what these kind of projects can do as destinations for dining, social activity, and tourism, I fully 100% believe in it, and the developers behind it, I think, are perfectly suited to make a positive impact that will be felt in Tulsa for years to come. So, excited for this.
Thank you. Chris, you made me doubt my math. This is speaker number 9.
You are correct.
All right. Oh my goodness, shame on you. All right, call our last speaker.
Oh, I'm already here. She's already here.
Oh.
Hi, I'm so ready.
Good evening.
This is also my first time speaking at council. So I'm a young local developer. My sister and I recently took over our family's real estate company, and I just wanted, I really wanted to come and say I'm so supportive of this project for so many different reasons. We have lost so many of our buildings, which I think is why we need the cathedral district part of this project. And also we have the opportunity to not lose one of our most historic buildings by investing in the Philcade. So and also I think it's, you know, looking at the new projects that are happening in the cathedral district. I was able to go tour the first Christian church that Sharp Development is working on, and those kinds of projects are just so incredible and funded by and envisioned by local developers, and it's also going to take national Morrison Atlas style developers to bring what Tulsa needs. So yeah, just want to give my support.
Thank you. We appreciate it. Okay, since that's our last speaker, without objection, we will exit public hearings. Item 4, mayor's items. The mayor's not with us tonight. The remaining items 4B through K will not be read aloud. However, public comments will be received on those. Chris, do we have any speakers?
We have no speakers.
Is there any council discussion?
Move to approve items 4B through K with the emergency clause on 4B.
Second.
Lori, will you please call the roll?
Counselor Dr. Wright?
Yes.
Counselor Lakin?
Yes.
Counselor Bush? Counselor Hall Harper?
Yes.
Yes.
Counselor Dutton?
Yes.
Counselor Bellis?
Yes.
Counselor Bengal?
Yes. All right. Items 4B through K are approved with the emergency clause on 4B. Number 5, authorities, boards, and commissions. A, rezoning application MPD 6 from AG to MPD 6 for multiple properties bounded by U.S. Highway 412 East, 41st Street South, South 193rd East Avenue, and South 273rd East Avenue, requested by Fair Oaks Ranch LLC and Rob Wall LLC, in care of Lou Reynolds, Eller and Dietrich, property owner, Fair Oaks Ranch LLC. Do we have any speakers?
We have 5 speakers,
Okay.
and only 5. First, Lou Reynolds.
Evening, Lou.
Good evening, Mr. Chair. My name's Lou Reynolds. My address is 2727 East 21st Street, and I represent Fair Oaks Ranch LLC and Rob Wall LLC. There's been discussion in the past that this has been filed by Mr. Joe Robson. He's my longtime friend and has been a client for years, and we all know he's passed away. But these properties are owned by two entities, and I represent these entities. I represented the entities, you know, before he passed away, and I still do today. So there'd been talk about that at the Planning Commission, that something wasn't quite right about all that. So this is our MPD number 6, and this is the first page, the cover page. I wanted to show that to you all. If you'll go to the next page, this shows you what's going on in this area. Fair Oaks is in color down there in the lower right-hand corner. And if you look up to the top, to the north, you'll see that's the Lower Bird Creek wastewater treatment plant. And the city of Tulsa is working on that right now. If you can go back to that last one, please, Chris. We're increasing the size and capacity in that wastewater treatment plant. We also, the orange line extending south from it, that's 12,000 linear feet of 64-inch sanitary sewer interceptor line. That's primarily where that $50 million of ARPA money that you're familiar with, that we got a grant from the state. The city of Tulsa has also put $14 million in towards it as well. And we're spending $64 million in this project to increase the ability of the sanitary sewer to flow through here, and it will provide sanitary sewer service to this project when it's completed in about the next 1.5 to 2 years. If you look to the lower left, all that in green, the city spent between $60 and $70 million providing sanitary sewer service for that area over about the past 10 years, and has opened that up for development. And this now will open Fair Oaks up for development. Something that you also should know about Fair Oaks, its perimeter from its north and east boundary and its south boundary, that's been wrapped with a 24-inch, looped with a 24-inch water line. So from a city standpoint, we're very close to having all the services right in place here to develop this rather intensely. The next one, please. If you can shrink that one down, Chris, so we can see all three on one page, it would help. But this three, that right there, the first one is the Fair Oaks Comprehensive Plan. This is a comprehensive planning process that Fair Oaks went through with the city of Tulsa. It's a private plan. We did this in conjunction with the one in the middle, which is the city of Tulsa's future land use plan for this area. And we put together our plan and the city's plan at a similar time. And then the plan on the right is our MPD land use plan that we've developed to develop Fair Oaks through. Come up to the next one, please. So this is the specific Fair Oaks land use plan that's in this MPD. And it's basically, you've got a residential center for retail and mixed use. We have town and village centers for neighborhood centers, with business areas for employment, neighborhood areas for housing. We have over 1,200 acres that are preserved for open spaces. These will be open to the public. So all that green in there, that's the 1,200 acres of our open space. That'll be from fields to parks to trails to you name it, all kinds of different things. Next one, please. These are our classifications that we use, and these are our substitute for zoning districts. These could say, you know, RS3. They could say OL, office light. They could say CS, commercial shopping district. This is what we've named our particular zoning districts. We have a regional center, a town center neighborhood, a village center, a neighborhood center, and a business and industrial center. And this lists the number of acres allocated to them and how they fit into the MPD. Next one, please. So you can kind of shrink that down. One of the things I wanted to tell you, if this were developed just like we've mapped it out, and we had all the dwelling units that we would propose and things like that, we believe we would get 23,938 dwelling units in here, homes, dwelling units. And if we did this in a conventional suburban standard based on the average of what's out there, there'd be about 11,500 houses. So we almost got a doubling of dwelling units in this MPD. So next one, please. So this is a start with some of the details. This outlines, you can see the outline in orange. There's two spots down there toward the south end and the east. This is the neighborhood center component. If you'll flip to the next one, I have some more details about the neighborhood center. So it's This is like it said, it's a neighborhood center. It's key design standards that are built into this MPD are a variety of housing types, from single-family homes to small-scale multifamily. We have small neighborhood commercial uses located at key intersections throughout that area. We have a walkable neighborhood design with sidewalks, street trees, et cetera. And I think our big concept is that there'll be supporting local services and housing diversity all within walking distance of each other. The next one, please. This is our next district, our town center neighborhood. And this is a neighborhood that's just off of our town center. The town center area is that darker purple. That will be our downtown portion of this project. So if you go to the next slide, please, this gives us some idea of what this is about. It's key design standards or a mix of housing types integrated within the town center. We have alleys or side drives used to limit front-loaded garages, so we're trying to get away from that. We have pedestrian-oriented streets with sidewalks, street trees, and we're looking to create a walkable residential neighborhood connected directly to the downtown district, and so that you can kind of go back and forth and get that walkable. And I'll show you some other things we built into that. Our next one is a town center. This is our city center. This is our downtown type area. If you'll go to the next slide, please. It's got a little bit of a picture of what that might look like. And so our key standards here are going to be active storefronts, mixed-use buildings located close to the sidewalk, buildings arranged to form a continuous street wall, walkable downtown environment with sidewalks and street trees, and it'll be the functional downtown core of this project. And the standards for that are in this MPD. Next one, please. This is our village center, and it's mostly south of the downtown area. And if you go to the next slide, I'll give you some more details. This village center is going to be small, mixed-use village centers within walking distance of surrounding neighborhoods. Buildings are going to be placed close to sidewalks. We want to have active frontages. We put the standards in this MPD for that. We've got housing located above or near the neighborhood serving retail services. And we're designing to have the very walkable area so that we have sort of, we call a walk shed, that there's a lot of access for people within a quarter mile of where they live throughout this whole district. The next one, please. This is our regional center. And if you'll go to, and it runs the length of the project on the east side of the Creek Turnpike and kind of north and south. It's a narrow standard. One of the design standards that's in this MPD with respect to the regional center is that we have a block length can be no more than 1,600 feet. And then inside that block length at 800 feet, we have half blocks, so they're cut up. So while we have lots of uses and intense uses in here, we don't allow the blocks to get really, really big. And the biggest block would serve something that you might consider to say a large box retail type center, and with say a Super Walmart or Super Target or something like that. That'd be the biggest tract we've got with those size limitations. We limit those blocks to 1,600 feet of frontage on the street. So if you'll go on and kind of look at this, we're hoping and built in the standards for commercial, mixed use, multifamily buildings, all supporting kind of a walkable regional destination. Our buildings are organized in connected blocks with parking primarily located behind the buildings. There'll be pedestrian connections limiting nearby neighborhoods to jobs, shopping, and services. So this reflects this intent to create different building types as well as having walkable commercial activity. And remember, this runs the length of the MPD down the expressway. Next one, please. This is our business and industrial center, and these are at our northeast corner, and then on the west side of the expressway, the turnpike. If you go to the next slide, please. This is sort of a description and somewhat how that would look like. We're looking for employment and industrial uses located near Highway 412 as well as the turnpike. We've got larger blocks and sites designed to support business operations. We've enhanced our landscaping and screening requirements to buffer neighborhoods. We've got setbacks and things to enhance as well. And so something I wanted to mention and that we've discussed and I want to put before this board. I didn't have time to put it in writing tonight before, but we can get this to you between now and the second reading. And that's this concept that with respect to the this business center and that regional center running down the expressway, we will accept whatever standards that the city of Tulsa will put in place in the future with respect to data centers. I don't have that language now, but I'll get that to you. So if you make some changes in those standards, that's just fine with us. And so I'll make sure we've got that verbiage for you all before second reading. So I think that make that something that's easier to do. Next, please. So there was talk, and what I wanted you to see on this, there was a discussion about, gosh, it sure is a lot of uses. Well, and there are, but these are right out of your zoning code. And if we zoned a piece of property, say CS, you know, at 71st and Yale, for lack of a better term, or anywhere else in the city, all these uses would be in there too. And you have to remember, we go from single family, if you will, really from parks and open space, all the way to industrial. So we've got to put in all the uses in this MPD, or we won't have the use. So if you open up your zoning code to the office, commercial, industrial section, this looks exactly like it. We did do a few custom things to fit in the spirit of what we're doing. We added like a small artist type studio and to allow, say, a bronze artist or somebody that makes guitars or whoever it might be, they can do that in some of the residentially areas, and that's not, you know, an industrial activity. And so we've got the flexibility in this MPD to put uses where we want, and we put limits on that. It can't be any more than 4,000 square feet and things like that. So we've tried to give people the right to do artsy and crafty things close to where they live. And we took out a lot of uses that we didn't think were appropriate. So we've actually got less uses than you have in the zoning code, but we did craft one more to put it in some special areas where you can't put it in the zoning code today. Next one, please. You can keep scrolling, Chris. And now I wanted to focus on this because this is the big driver of this MPD, and it's very important to us and something we spent a lot of time working with and working with the city and working on. And in this particular MPD, it's 53 pages. Well, 13 of them are about our transportation and our street system. So, you know, a full fourth of what we're doing is all about getting our streets right. And so if you look at go down to the next slide, please. We've got a street grid that we've proposed, and throughout this grid, it has different types of streets and things. We've proposed 11 different types of streets in throughout this MPD, and everything down to a one-lane alley. And we've worked out with the city the standards for a one-lane alley, and to my knowledge, we don't have those anywhere in modern times. So we think that's something we need to bring back in certain areas. So if you look at just some examples, there's the details of all those streets by their classifications. And then the next one, please. Here's all of those streets are laid out here with the Fair Oaks street sections. And here's one that the 4-lane boulevard and major arterial streets through there would look like that. Here's another 4-lane boulevard and how it would be laid out. And I just want to note on something. We've got sidewalks on one side and a trail on the other. Trees between it, you know, trees between the sidewalk and the street, that sort of thing, designed to just focus in on that walkability, getting around on your bicycle, things like that. And these are the streets we would intend to build. Next one, please. And just goes right through what these streets would be like and what they would look like. Next one, please. And I think you can scroll through these, Chris, but you can get the idea. It comes on down. The very last one is our one-lane alley. And so we work very hard on the design and limitations and things to make this something that will be very good for our city. So I respectfully request that you approve this. It's been recommended for approval by your staff, It's been recommended unanimously for approval by the Planning Commission, and with my proviso that I'll get back with you and work out some language on future treatment of how a data center might be. So if you have any questions, I'll try to answer them.
We might take questions afterward. Should we get through our speakers first? I think we should go through that, and then we can call up Mr. Reynolds afterwards. Thank you, Lou.
Thank you, Mr.
Chris, call our next speaker, please.
Our next speaker is Danielle Krachowski.
Good evening.
Thank you all for having me. I'm a little nervous. And I don't really have any prepared points, even though it looks like I do. I brought my whole folder of MPD6 stuff up with me because I wasn't expecting to be called first. My name is Danielle Krachowski. I am I should say, a longtime Tulsa resident. I believe I have emailed each of you today, at least once. A little bit about me. Like I said, longtime Tulsa resident. I recently moved to the area that MPD6 affects. I have Tulsa roots. I've been here for over 10 years. I've spent several hundreds of thousands of dollars getting an education at OSU and OSU Tulsa. I'm an accountant. I have an MBA in finance. I'm a data person, okay? So I want to thank Councilman Bengal for meeting with me at his town hall, and if any of his constituents are here, I apologize for eating up all of his time after the meeting. But I do think we had some great conversation, and we have while we disagree on a lot of things, I do believe that there is a way for us to meet in the middle, which is why I'm speaking today. Councilman Bengal helped me to realize that MPD6 isn't going anywhere, no matter what I'd like, right? I have done a little bit more research on it, and I have accepted the fact that it's here to stay, right? There's nothing I can do about it, and that's fine. I've made peace with that. My concerns are the rezoning. If this has been a 20-year plan, and it's going to continue to be a plan for the next 20 or 30 years, why do we have to rezone this immediately? Okay, simply because we have the moratorium on the data centers. There's bills being presented in the Oklahoma government about data centers. And if you look at the maps that were presented, my neighborhood, which is really just, I live on the wrong side of the tracks. I live 20 feet, 20, 30 feet from the city line. So I've kind of been told that my voice doesn't matter. And I have a problem with that because, if we are rezoning, why don't we wait and see what happens with the data centers? Because according to the maps, there's only a 250 feet buffer between my neighborhood and a data center, and I don't think that's right. We don't know the environmental impacts, which I've already said. I'm not going to go into all the things that I've sent you all an email about. But we also, I've listened to the planning meetings, I've listened to some of the urban development meetings, and I keep hearing, this is what our young people want, right? This is what our young people want, this kind of MPD6. So my question as an accountant, as a finance person, where does that blanket statement come from? Like, what are the age ranges we're looking at where these people say this? I kind of want the data on that. I really do, because I can tell you when I was 20, I lived and worked in New York City, loved it. But now that I'm 50, where do I live? I live here in a city, or just outside of a city, which I love. I love that I live just outside of the city where I have all the amenities of a city, and I do believe that Tulsa can be a world-class city. I really do. Like I said, I've lived in New York. But New York also does more of a stakeholder than a shareholder. I think the residents of Tulsa, we can look at them like shareholders, and the people outside of Tulsa, just outside of Tulsa, literally, I live on the wrong side of the tracks, right? We're the stakeholders. So that's what we do in business, right? Businesses are moving more of a stakeholder, where we don't just consider our residents or the people that own our stock, right? We look at the people outside. Like, how does my decisions affect the people outside of my boundary who maybe don't own my stock, but my decisions affect them in their life? I think that I've said everything I want to say. I want to say so much more, but I see that my time is running low. So I want to be respectful of everybody's time, and I thank you all for reading my emails. I can continue to send more with more links and more research. So again, I just thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak.
Thank you. Chris, call our next speaker, please.
Next speaker is Buchanan Dowling.
Good evening.
Can you bring up the, when we mentioned the map before I start? Thank you. Okay. Thank you. My name is Buchanan Dowling. I live at 2913 East Quaker Street. That's in the neighborhood of Whiskey Ridge. I'm an electrical engineer, and I specialize in industrial automation and controls, and I'm intimately familiar with the technology and infrastructure that is placed within data centers. I previously submitted questions and document on MPD 6. I provided many recommendations, the bulk of which have never been addressed. I spoke at the Planning Commission about the contamination of this site. I'm not going to touch on that anymore today. What I would like to do is direct focus to the screen, and I trust that everybody can actually see this. The blue areas are the business and industrial centers. Now, I really should commend Mr. Reynolds and his team for doing an amazing job in putting all this stuff together. But as they say, it's like kind of lipstick on a pig here. If you live on the east side of the turnpike, it's going to be an amazing place to live. You're going to have all these places where you could walk and explore, go eat. But there's a huge risk to the people, myself, that live on the other side of the turnpike. These are the people that abut that blue section. So everyone knows about Project Anthem, and that's that section on the top left that's in blue. It's already approved, it's happening, that's fine, right? So much going on. My big concern is an expansion of that data center, right? So those handful of people that live nearby that, it's going to be hell, forgive my language. There's going to be loud noises, there's going to be generators, there's going to be, it's just not going to be fun. Now, that's just a handful of residents, and this is for a project that's already approved. Ultimately, what I'd like to see here today is a moratorium on any expansion into the MPD zone. For what reason? If you look on the south side of this map, blue, how many thousands of homes, how many 10,000 people live there? These are people that are going to be directly affected by this expansion. If there's going to be any expansion of a data center, we really need to kind of hold off. I would recommend that we, one, put a moratorium, but if you don't want to do that, that needs to be reserved and put on a totally separate project. It really has no bearing on this project at all, period. It's a convenience for the developer. They put that in there so they can dictate the rules. As you said today, he's put all that in there. He's stating that he's going to put information in there. There's nothing in this putting restrictions that protect existing residents. And that's what I'd like to talk about. So just recently, they approved a new neighborhood. That's on the left side of that blue area. That's Amethyst Falls. I live in Whiskey Ridge. You have other neighborhoods all over there. And there's also brand new homes in that little brown section there. So you're talking about 3 or 4 sides a data center could expand into. Now, if I'm a builder of a data center, I'm looking at all this electricity, all the power that's right there. It's perfect. That's exactly what they want. But as a resident, that's not good. So in some of my emails, I pointed out that the Tulsa Comprehensive Plan cited on 5.3 explicitly directs industrial uses to particular areas of the city while discouraging them in close proximity to neighborhood areas. This is it, right here. There's no standards, noise standards, no protections for us residents. And that's what I'd like to think about. So please, I urge you to I'm requesting an amendment to establish a moratorium and prevent any expansion. because we really don't know what's going on when these are put into place. There's so much going on in Tulsa right now, and I would urge caution and just don't allow it, right? We can take that piece out, let the rest of it go forward. Everybody's good. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Chris, can you call our next speaker, please?
Next speaker is Koealani Baloo.
Good evening.
Hello, Chair, Commission, thank you. My comments today focus solely on the procedural requirements of MPD ordinance and whether the MPD 6 application contains the evidence you are legally required to evaluate at rezoning. So MPD 6, or the MPD ordinance requires findings of adequate public infrastructure, adequate utilities, environmental impact evaluations, compatibility, defined uses, and a binding site plan now at rezoning. These findings cannot be deferred to staff or for future administrative steps. There is a reason for that. Once zoning is granted, all permitted uses become a matter of right. After rezoning, staff cannot deny a permitted use, cannot impose new conditions, and cannot require new studies. Permitting becomes administrative. The city loses all discretionary authority. So Tulsa has already learned this lesson the hard way. MPD 6 application contains no traffic impact analysis, no roadway capacity modeling, no freight routing, no emergency access modeling, no funding identified in the fiscal year 26 ODOT or city budgets. With oil prices spiking due to the Iran conflict, construction costs and transportation budgets are under even more pressure. ODOT is already facing inflation-driven overruns, rising fuel and asphalt costs, and unfunded improvements. Tulsa Hills required millions in emergency intersection rebuilds. East Tulsa Industrial Corridor caused pavement failures and trucks cut throughs. Now, Owasso 96th Street Corridor required taxpayer-funded widening after approvals. And today, the applicant confirmed that the application is incomplete. Mr. Reynolds described 13 conceptual street principles, 11 street types, 1 lane alley, and sidewalk trail combinations, but these are illustrative, not binding. He did not submit a binding street plan, adopted engineering standards, emergency access modeling, traffic capacity analyses, or funding sources. Conceptual drawing do not satisfy the ordinance. Without evidence, the commission cannot make the required finding of adequate public infrastructure. Now, the application includes no water demand projections, no wastewater load estimates, no electrical demand disclosures, no substation requirements, no stormwater modeling. Now, HB 2392 makes this submission even more serious, because it requires large load customers to share transmission and substation costs, upfront collateral, minimum contract duration, OCC filings, protection against stranded investments. Now, MPD 6 contains none of these elements. Tulsa's already paid this price, skipping utility analysis. The River District required emergency lift station upgrades. Aspen Hillside in Broken Arrow caused downstream flooding and retrofits. So without utility capacity disclosure, the commission cannot make the required finding of adequacy. Now, a federally listed species assessment was required for 104 acres in Fair Oaks parcel in 2023. It identified habitat for northern long-eared bat, piping plover, red knot, and monarch butterfly. Now, MPD 6 is 6,200 acres, 60 times larger, yet no species assessment was required. Tulsa has already experienced the consequence of skipping environmental review, including contamination delays in North Tulsa and federal consultation in East Tulsa. Without environmental evaluation, the record is incomplete. Now, compatibility. MPD 6 includes no noise limits, no lighting standards, no vibration or heat controls, no truck trip caps, no hours of operation limits, and Mr. Reynolds referenced screening and setbacks, but then admitted they did not have the time to put those in writing. This is an admission that the application is incomplete. Without performance standards, the commission cannot make the required findings of compatibility. Now, the ordinance requires defined uses, a binding site plan, a phasing plan. Today, the applicant admitted we have to put all of these uses into the MPDs. We added art studios, we took out uses we didn't think were appropriate. We want flexibility to put uses where we want. We'll get back to you on data center language as second reading. These statements confirm the use table is not final. Uses are being added and removed ad hoc. The applicant wants discretionary placement of uses. They intend to add new use language after the public hearing. Adding uses after the hearing violates public notice and due process. If it cannot be codified today, it cannot be approved today. So more than 100 pages of the MPD6 application consist solely of signage photos. These pages do not contain any of the required
You have
infrastructure,
30
utility,
seconds.
environmental, or site planning information needed for the commission to make findings required by the ordinance. The record is padded, not complete. And with all the pieces spiking from the Iran conflict, MPD6 requires major roadway improvements, but no funding is identified. A species assessment was required for 104 acres. MPD6 does not have it. The applicant admitted today that uses standards and data center language are not in writing and would be added later. Without infrastructure funding, without environmental evaluation, please say no.
Thank you.
Thank you. Chris, don't challenge my math. Call the last speaker.
Our final speaker is Cheyenne Morgan.
Good evening.
I feel like I just saw you this morning. Hello. I don't have anything super prepared, so I'm just going to go wing it. MPD 6, there are unremediated mines on this land that have not had an environmental study. I think it's irresponsible to rezone this land to create these neighborhoods where kids will play when there's a possibility of contamination from those mines. Also, in proximity to an already approved project, Project Anthem, there has been no studies on how data centers will impact neighborhoods around them. Yeah, I just think that we should delay approving rezoning until there's a final environmental study on this land and a moratorium on data centers. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. That was our final speaker. Is there any council discussion? So we're in council discussion, excuse me. So Councilor Dutton.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for to everybody for coming out to speak. Chris, I would appreciate if you would go back to the Master Plan Development District table of, section 5.5 under supplemental use regulations. Actually, let's go back to 4.1. I'm sorry, page 18.
Counselor, are these direct, are you going to be
yeah,
directing these to anybody specific?
Yes, to Lou, please.
Mr. Reynolds?
Yes, Mr. Reynolds, thank you.
Lou, would you mind coming back up?
Hi. Hi. Okay, so section 4.1, page 18. It should have maps. Okay. That's, yeah, that was, yeah, go back. Yeah, that one's good. Oh, yep, there you go. You were, okay. Okay, yeah. So the gray areas here are the business and industrial centers, correct?
Yes, ma'am, that's correct.
Okay, and then back to 4.2, page 19, the next map. And it shows the same. And this lower peach-colored area would be a park, is that correct? Or
No, ma'am.
Green space?
No, that's not part of the green space.
The neighborhood center?
That's the neighborhood center.
Oh, okay.
That'll be kind of a houses, commercial type area.
Okay.
And apartments.
Okay, and then let's go to section 5.5 under supplemental use regulations. Page 32. Okay. All of these uses here listed, we have 4 pages roughly of uses that are listed, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
That can be applied. And then we go to 5.5, page 32, item I. At the bottom here, right there.
Yes.
Data centers, that wasn't something that was brought up when you were up here speaking. That's an item that does not necessarily have to be in the plans, correct? If you guys want to remove that from the plans, you can.
No, we added that to the plan and
Right.
presented that to the Planning
Okay.
Commission and as an additional development restriction, so that no data center would be within 250 feet of that line, and so everything would be 250 feet away and further away from anyone.
Okay.
That and so we're trying to add an additional setback.
Okay, I get that.
Mhm.
But if you wanted to take that out of the MDP, you could.
Well, with the approval of
Correct.
the Planning Commission and you.
Right, but you could.
Yes, ma'am,
before
we could
you-
ask
on the
for it
second
at a
reading,
public
you
hearing.
could come up, and that could be removed on the second reading
Well-
in the development for the property,
Well,
correct?
we're not. And so, yes, it could be,
Okay,
but we're not.
Okay, that's what I
That-
wanted to know was
You know,
if it could be, if that was an option that you guys could remove. And
No,
so you
ma'am.
did answer that question.
Yeah, we're not, but we're also agreeing to add whatever,
The
you know, we'll
250.
go flexible to whatever restrictions you come out in the future with
Okay.
respect to it.
Okay, I also just want to remind constituents and the viewers that are watching that you can get this material that we're reviewing on this subject matter from last week's City Council UED 1030 meeting, and it would be in the backup materials for agenda item number 6. You can get that supporting documentation to look for yourself. Thank you.
So to be clear, we're not proposing taking anything away.
Right.
We're proposing adding an additional restriction. So that
Gotcha.
no one will be misled by our discussion.
Right, gotcha. Okay, thank you.
Counselor Billis?
I think well, no, here, since you're up here, I'll ask my 2 questions for Lou first. One is just for my own, so it's it's the 250-foot setback for industrial,
Data centers.
for data center specifically.
Right.
And does that include, just to clarify, is it codified in here requiring certain screening and sound
Yes, ma'am.
mitigation? Because those sounds could have a high impact even a mile, 2 miles, 3 miles away. Worst impacts up to 3,000 feet away. This is only 250 feet.
We don't have anything specific for sound for data centers. We
Okay.
have screening and setbacks and lighting and landscaping, and we've got double in the
Right.
landscaping that the code would require at the property lines where it would be residential. But, you know, we don't have all those standards in our code, and that's why I suggested to you all, we'd be happy to accept
add
what
more.
you come up with.
Okay,
So-
and then next question is, and this might be something I might ask legal or the planning office more about, but there's something in here about this all referring back to, I think, a May 13th date.
Certainly, I can answer that.
Okay, what does that date mean?
That's just a reference. It's referring back to the date of the zoning code at that time, so that the rules in place at that time would be the rules in place that apply to this project.
To grandfather it in.
And
But so how does that pair with you saying you'd be open to revisions? If
That's
we're
what I'm telling you,
So we
on
could
data
take-
centers, we're
Okay.
willing to revise that standard to whatever you do in the future with respect to data centers.
Okay, so changing the May 13th date and what's proposed right now?
Yes, that's part of what the language I'll bring to you.
Okay, that's helpful. And then as my last question,
Yeah.
that's super helpful because was something I was really looking at. Are there already, for whether it's for these industrial purposes, the data center purposes, or all of this really exciting housing development side of this, are there already developers or dollars or contractors because I know these are some amazing, robust plans. How much of this is imminent with certain folks at the table?
Back up.
A laser pointer. All right.
So, all right, let's start scrolling. So I just want to give you the big picture, what's going on. Keep going. I'm sorry. Go down. We've passed where I want to be. Keep going. One more. Stop right there. So, with respect to what's going on right now, we missed a project that was known to you all as Project Canebrake, and that's down in here in this industrial part where the pointer's not going to work, and I'm not going to look at it to zap my eyes out to prove that it's not working, right? So down in the southwest corner, that gray, that employment part, that was where Project Canebrake was planned to be. And it's turned out that that's a project that's not very likely to make, and we've worked on it for a couple of years to have it come to us. That gray spot, and if you just scroll so we can see the top of this the other way, and north of this, there's about 1,000 acres. These lands are under a joint development agreement between us and Partner Tulsa. And And part of those lands and the purpose of that joint development agreement is part of the ARPA grant that we got. One of the commitments that we made was to seek employment within the area impacted by those funds, and that was a commitment we had to make to the state. So we partnered with Partner Tulsa, and Partner Tulsa partnered with us to make these areas available for employment. And Partner Tulsa had helped us, and Partner Tulsa had recruited the Crane Bank project, and we came very close to that. So that's the closest that we're coming to something that's right now, but it's not going to work out.
Okay.
So they're all under a joint development agreement with Partner Tulsa.
Okay, and then for the more kind of beautiful, exciting parts of this to happen, we assume that people will want to develop lots of housing.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Sorry, for like the really beautiful, exciting
Yes.
parts of this to happen, then we're assuming that if those things come in, or the proposition is then all the housing will want to develop near it.
Yes, we think so, and we think, it's one of the parts of the problems when you look at some parts of Tulsa and you walk around and say, these used to be neighborhoods, these houses used to be nice, people used to live here. Well, the folks are gone, but the jobs went before the folks left. And in the big picture, when we're talking about housing, and the term we always bring up with is affordability. And the tricky part about affordability, and you all know this, and most people don't, so I'll say it kind of just for the general public, but in 1980, Tulsans earned 114% of the national average. So Tulsans as a whole made 14% more money than the average American, just on average. Today, we earn about 90%. So we've lost 25% of earning capacity compared to average Americans. And the nice part about Tulsa, we are a city. We do have some big companies. We do have big business. Well, it's really nice if you're in like the top third of those people and you earn a similar wage to someone in Denver or Chicago or Houston, because you get to live in Tulsa, you get to pay a Houston wage, and prices and things are lower, and it's really great. But if you're below that, it's kind of crushing.
Yeah.
And that's why you have these, these affordability issues, and what you all as a council are working on. You guys can impact the affordability of housing to try to drive down housing costs. It's very difficult for us to bring jobs that pay more than the prevailing average to raise everybody's boat and make everyone better off here. And that's our struggle. That was Partner Tulsa's and our commitment with respect to Project Canebrake. These were bringing in good jobs. They paid more than the prevailing average wage. It was what you all want, and we're all looking for, and we're fighting for. And it's a fight. It's really competitive to get, better jobs, and that was part of the commitment we made to the state. Right. And that's why these areas are so important to us. That's why those uses are in there. We realize there's pushback on data centers, but
right. Cool. Well,
we're
those
willing
aren't
to accept
those aren't going to give us 10,000 jobs. Those will give us a handful.
But
okay,
we want to know, we're flexible with you all to ensure you get the protections you want.
That's helpful. Okay, can I switch out to the planning office for some quick questions? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I was just going to check with the amount, since there are so many different land uses embedded in this, with the different physical space that could be industrial and would permit data centers, how many could fit in this plan? Sorry, I'm asking you to do like some random back of napkin math maybe.
Yeah, well, and there's an assumption I would know. I mean, so right now, I guess I'll start with this. We, as you all know, classify data centers as a low impact or a light industrial use. Within this development plan map that we have on the screen, those would be permitted uses within the business and industrial centers as well as the regional centers. I think in total that equates to about 2,400 acres of land. If I'm judging by, let's say, Project Anthem, which is a roughly 400 acre tract of land, and you just do the quick math, that would be 6 sites. But that's, again, assuming geometry works for that type of a use and scale and some of the other requirements that would be in the plan. So,
okay, thank you. That's really helpful. And then related to the setbacks, Is that, and this might be what you're researching as we consider zoning for hyperscale ones. Is that something that you all are seeing different best practices around? Because I know this has the 250 feet, which isn't a lot for relative to what we know about some of the noise pollution.
Sure. It is something we've seen. I don't want to speak conclusively about some of the things because this kind of has just kicked off in what we're looking at. And I will tell you that we've found cities with a wide range of approaches. There are some that have not dealt with setbacks, but maybe have dealt with the scale of the buildings themselves or their particular districts they're allowed within. There are some communities that have used setbacks as a tool. Some of them have been as great as maybe 1,500 feet away from a residential area. So I don't know that I have a good answer as to what the best recommendation is on setting these away from residential districts. In response to the addition of the 250-foot setback on this project, that is much greater than the other industrial setbacks that we have today. I think you all at your committee today saw a map of where we have IL zoning. None of those would have a 250-foot setback from residential. So it's still in excess of what we would generally apply, but I'm not sure where we will come at this with new recommendations yet.
Okay. That's helpful. And then just since someone mentioned unremediated mines, do we know where those are on here, or what is? I was just curious if that's. I don't know a lot about that.
I think Lou will probably be able to tell you more if he wants to. But there are coal mines to the east of the highway. A lot of them you can see from an aerial photography standpoint just because they've become lakes. There's strip lakes throughout the entire property on the east side of the highway. What I will say is that remediation of mining activity is not a scope that we deal with in the planning office. There are federal agencies that oversee reclamation of mining activity. There are federal regulations that require remediation of those types of activities, and they would have to be adhered to if property owners are going to move forward with developments like those you see in these proposals. It is not a requirement to submit a zoning application that all of those things be dealt with at this time. So,
Okay, thank you. That's really helpful. And then I just wanted to, real quick, name to my council colleagues. I was checking related to that piece where it has that May 13th date, but we heard from Mr. Reynolds that they, would be open to being able to have revisions. I checked with Sarah and Jack, and she was recommending that if we were going to amend that, we would want to do it today. And the informal way of looking at that would be deleting the names listed by the dates listed by the zoning code reference and add as may be amended from time to time. Or Jack provided some more formal language, but just since they mentioned being open to revisions if we had new standards, that we would want to make that amendment tonight. Just flagging that to my colleagues. Okay, thank you, Nathan.
Sure.
I think that was me.
Are you done?
I hope
All right.
so. I don't know.
Councilor Dr. Wright.
Thank you, Chair Bangle. Nathan, could you come back?
Should have known better.
Chris, can you pull up page 50 of the PDF? It's actually page 40 in the presentation, but. Admittedly, I think this is the first MPD 6 that has ever come before me as a city councilor. Obviously, we have master plan developments across the city. No, it's the one that shows the four. It's page 40 of the PDF, but like in the whole big thing, it's 50. Yeah. It's the 4-lane. Look, there you go. So this kind of jumped out at me. I don't think this is something typical in our city. Is that correct? Would this be the first?
I think it would. I can't think of any other examples in Tulsa that
I can't
have
either.
utilized this design.
I can't either. And so immediately I went, fiscal impact of a 4-lane boulevard with, beautiful trees in between, as we share the Memorial Corridor and often are talking about how we don't have dollars to take care of these things. So understandably desirable, but when we're doing a master plan like this that is so just like out of wholesale cloth, building a whole new, not just a neighborhood, but like a collection of neighborhoods, all of it, is there a fiscal impact analysis done of like when the city is responsible for these, what the ongoing maintenance and repair and all that's going to cost us?
Not as part of the zoning.
Right.
So what will happen if this were to be approved, there will be a series of subdivision processes as each piece of this comes in for development.
For platting and all that
Right.
stuff.
And during that platting phase, the plat is very much a partner item to the engineering of infrastructure. So the developer, whomever that is at the time they come in to develop, would represent on an engineering set how they intend to build out those public streets. They would go through our infrastructure permitting process while they were platting the property for development. The city would have to accept those improvements. So in addition to reviewing them for our engineering standards to meet all of our requirements, amenities like this, which have come up in smaller scale developments around town, oftentimes come with a request by the city to arrange some sort of maintenance agreement, that it's not going to become the city's responsibility to come in and maintain all of the nice landscaping. We've seen that in several business improvement districts around town who have their own allocations set aside to maintain and deal with those types of amenities. So I think that's what you would see in this aspect. When these things start to be developed and built, there would be a request by the city to ensure that privately those amenities are going to be maintained by the property owners adjacent to these types of pieces of infrastructure.
And the reason I bring that up is so in my part of town, there are these master planned communities that 50, 40 years later, now there's these question marks around these beautiful islands, who's maintaining it, would be a mandatory HOA. That agreement expires. Now it's this. So I'm just flagging as the counselor who is navigating master plan communities put in Tulsa in the 80s, 90s, and the things in 70s even, and the things that we're grappling with today. So I want us to be very mindful. I understand this is just kind of a dream big, and then the reality of it all sets in. But these kinds of things flag for me as we constantly in South Tulsa have these kinds of amenities and now have to fight in every capital improvement package to try to maintain them. I do think East Tulsa is desirable. I think we know from the census that it's the fastest growing part of our city. I want to go back to the discussion, thank you, Nathan, today as we were talking about Anthem and data centers, and there was a statement made, and I can't remember which of you said it, but it's like, oh, well, this doesn't have housing near it. So, because I raised a flag when Councilor Bella showed different parts of town, and my part of town has IL already, and we talked about rodeo and noise and all of that. And one of the statements was, well, we don't have to worry about that with this project because there's no housing nearby. But now we have this proposal to do 22,000 dwelling units within 250 feet to I don't know how many miles away once this would all be built out. So I just do want to flag that. These are companion pieces. And to Councilor Bellis's inquiry just a minute ago, it looks like up to 6 could probably fit in the area. We know that 2 are coming, moratorium or not. So if we're planning something that 50 years from now, the residents are going to say, what were those people thinking? I just really want to be on the record. Like, let's learn from parts of town that did have this kind of master plan, what the impacts are fiscally on infrastructure maintenance, not just roads, but also under the roads, and really be mindful of what these approvals are. When it comes to the amendment, I do think since we are looking at tightening up language, obviously when this started, we didn't know about a lot of this stuff. We're learning as fast as we can. I do think we should make a friendly amendment and take the date certain out and put this more flexible language in. But I would just be cautiously supportive of something like this, knowing that the infrastructure impacts ultimately will be every citizen in the city of Tulsa funding it. And to this day, long-term existing parts of town, I'm looking at Councilor Bush, I'm looking at Councilor Hall Harbor, Councilor Dutton, Councilor Archie, and even Councilor Bangle, are already underinvested in a way that we are constantly looking for how we're going to catch up. We have a lot of streets under 40 PCI across the city, including my part of town, that we have no plan for how we fix those streets, and we're looking at taking this on. So I just want to be thoughtful about how we do all this, the commitment today, and then like the long-term impacts. I feel sometimes because we're in 2-year seats, we're just looking right in front of us. And because grants and things have time, you know, they're time bound, we're like, we got to move fast. But I do sometimes wonder like how we're thinking about the choices we make today for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now. And I know there's a saying that that's a future mayor and council's problem, but I would just be remiss if I didn't just verbalize that, because I am the counselor now looking in my community for how we solve some of these issues.
Councilor Lakin.
Okay, so you guys recommended this, right?
Yes.
How come?
Oh, that was it?
No, how come?
Oh, how come? I
Yeah,
thought you said
sorry.
okay.
Yeah, thank you. You may be seated.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm going to cross-examine
that's a great
everybody
question.
just
Yeah.
the same way.
So one of the things, for a minute, I'm going to put aside the industrial pieces. I know we're talking a lot about those aspects of it, and I think that's because they are the most imminent pieces of this development. On the other side, where we do have this plan for a mixture of uses, housing units, a diversity of commercial, highway fronting development, one of the main distinctions I see between maybe some of the historically master planned communities we may have referred to or seen, a lot of those came in with solely residential uses. And this is somewhere where I don't think there's a single piece of this entire project that is exclusively residential. You can mix uses throughout the entire development. It's intended to be very dense and walkable. And with that extra piece, the non-residential element included, you have the opportunity to generate revenue on top of the housing that you're developing. And so the hope would be, and I say hope because I don't know the numbers, would be that this project would help pay for those infrastructure improvements through the revenue it's going to generate with those new uses, through the attraction it creates along the highway corridor by developing something. I've been using Tulsa Hills as an example just because it's a highway corridor and the regional center is set up, as Mr. Reynolds indicated, for big box retail and things of that nature. So you start to see this opportunity to fund some of the infrastructure that would be required, but it is a lot. It's a huge lift. There is a ton of infrastructure proposed as a part of a development like this. And I think it was Councilor Gilbert, who's not here tonight, who brought up the question about public service capacity, the police and fire needs that would ultimately be required to serve something of this scale. But with all of that, I think it does come back to the point that this is not an imminent project. This is something that is going to occur over a 30 to 50 year timeline. And I think that as the development of this occurs, those other pieces start to fall into place. These employers, these things that are coming in to help generate more revenue are also happening. And so I think if we're going to recommend how to develop an area like this that's on the edge of town, it's important for us to find that mixture of uses, that dense walkability, and that ability to hopefully fund some of those infrastructure liabilities by the uses that are there on their own. So
That's good. That's really helpful for me. Yeah, I think some of these things, just given the timeline, aren't even going to be necessary at that point, given what kinds of success we have in getting around town differently.
I mean, I think that was
exactly.
the
Who knows?
first
I mean,
time I
it's
saw the
possible.
22,000
Hopefully we'll have
unit
less lanes rather
number.
than more.
But if you all remember, our housing study says we need 13,500 in the next 10 years. Like absorbing 22,000 all at once would be amazing, but I mean, it would surpass what we ultimately. So this is something that has to occur in the long run, and obviously we'll continue to have those housing needs. But I don't see this as a fix for our current housing shortage, because I think the timeline is so slow. But I do think that it's a more responsible way to develop if we're going to move all the way to the edge of the city and find a path. So.
Gotcha. Let me ask Mr. Reynolds one question. Are you okay with the friendly amendment that's been
Yes, sir.
proposed?
We are.
Okay.
And baked into this, we have to take care of the trees. This project is responsible for it, and it's in our zoning. It's part of the laws and rules with respect to it. So we'll care for those trees in the middle of the streets, and so that's what we want to do. So yes, I'm
that's
happy with
stated
the
in there.
amendment.
On the public streets?
These streets like that, those trees.
Yeah.
We will pay to maintain those streets. I'm sorry, the trees.
Are they private streets?
No, they're public streets, but we'll enter into an agreement to maintain those trees. So that's part of our
Like
deal.
a shared maintenance agreement or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
great. He's on the record.
It's in
I
our
trust
MPD,
him.
so it's in the
Well,
MPD.
we don't have to stop debate because I know that Councilor Bingle wants to, well, you for sure. But Mr. Reynolds in putting some kind of side agreement to it before us. But since he's fine with the amendment, Councilor Bellis has proposed the amendment. Does someone want to move the amendment and at least get it on the table?
I just want to make a quick comment. So when you were talking about Project King Break,
Yes,
right? This kind of displays some of that flexibility that's going to have to be exercised
Yes, sir.
throughout this MPD.
Mhm.
And I think that's relevant. So even though it may be specifically designated as a industrial park or whatever the case may be, what that looks like today may not be the same industry tomorrow.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
So that's what I want to bring kind of to the forefront. It's not get overly focused on what specifically is proposed with Project Anthem. It is actually the catalytic development that allows the rest of this to continue moving
Yes,
forward.
sir, that's correct. It's a big driver of infrastructure in this area, and that's a lot of what this plan's about is infrastructure and how to get the infrastructure there so you can have a development like this.
Yeah, because I think that's the problem is the over focus that on the data center aspect of it.
Yes, sir, I agree.
So.
And it's fine.
Just as one more piece of the conversation that I'm kind of struggling with, though I know there's a long kind of horizon for this, I'm just naming this to my colleagues. I just see this as, kind of sprawl, which we just have so much trouble maintaining, and I'm just naming to everyone that I struggle with that. And no, you said that. I just want to re-elevate that. That as beautiful as the plan is, it's kind of like adding a mini city on the edge of our city. Maybe they'll secede one day, but I don't know. I just am naming that we just have so much trouble maintaining our assets. I'm struggling with that.
We are in council discussion. You got cut off over there a little bit. Yeah, I mean, this is the conversation we have every time we craft a capital improvement package. And the counselors closer to downtown always say, well, we shouldn't widen because it's too expensive. Where's Mr. Ewing? I saw he left, but I'll argue his side of the thing that we always debate. But since we're out there, if you live out there, it's needed. So I appreciate Nathan kind of recentering us on like, this is a comprehensive plan, essentially, and not capital C, but a long-term plan that we are putting together. Sorry, I made you guys nervous when I said that. Starting now, but going on for decades before it's fully realized. That said, I did have questions about the concerns raised about environmental studies, about species and things like that, and I don't feel comfortable yet knowing that, are those things to come, or are they required, or is it through the platting process that those things get, these concerns about noise, traffic impacts, is that when we get closer to platting?
I'll say yes to the points that the city enforces. So noise, obviously, we have our own nuisance ordinances around noise. Traffic, we certainly look at traffic as platting begins. I think a project of this scale would likely inherit the requirement of a traffic impact analysis as things start to come in and start to develop. I would assume that Project Anthem had a traffic impact analysis as they're currently going through their platting process to make those assessments. As it relates to things kind of outside of the city's purview, yes, there are regulations in place about endangered species and protection of habitat that are enforced by other entities. Those are pieces that property owners would have to address through their own diligence as they go through a project like this and are becoming ready to develop something. If a endangered species is identified, there are paths they have to go through with the appropriate agencies in order to either mitigate against those concerns or avoid areas where those things come up.
Right, and neighbors can always file like a lawsuit or some kind of injunction or something like that too if they're.
Yeah, I don't want to speak too strongly on that because I just don't know.
Yeah.
But I think yes, there's absolutely other.
There's
ways
other
to go about it.
remedies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I briefly was a volunteer with the Sutton Center monitoring bald eagle nests and frequently reported activity around those bald eagle nests to the game warden, who would follow through with official reports and would even shut down construction if there was an activity getting too close to the base of that active nest. So yes, there are other agencies and enforcement that are out there that can take care of those things, but they're not all covered by the city of Tulsa.
Right.
So
Okay, I appreciate that.
Sure.
I think that shines a little more light on, what we do today is not set in stone forever. There's these other layers outside of what we have purview to, and then also just private action. Okay, I want to put the amendment out there for the council to just hear. So we heard, right, when this was initiated, there's a certain process. What we'd like to offer is a friendly amendment to section 5.3, the use provisions, to amend to provide use categories and definitions in the MPD that are subject to any future revisions to those use categories and definitions in the zoning code. So that would take care of this grandfather clause.
Great, so
Mr. Chairman, that's acceptable to the applicant.
is that a motion for just the amendment?
Is that
or
a
for
motion
5A?
for the amendment?
I didn't know if we're still in discussion. I can add that to 5A. Move to approve 5A with the following amendment. Section 5.3, use provisions, be amended to provide that use categories and definitions in the MPD are subject to any future revisions to those use categories and definitions in the zoning code.
No, go ahead. Oh, second. Lori, will you please call the roll?
Counselor Dr. Wright?
Yes.
Counselor Lakin?
Yes.
Counselor Bush?
Yes.
Counselor Hal Harper?
Yes.
Counselor Archie?
Yes.
Counselor Dutton?
No.
Counselor Bellis?
I think the amendment's a good form of harm reduction, but no.
Counselor Bengo?
Yes. Okay. Item 5A is approved.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Number 6, ordinances, first reading. The following items in this section of the agenda will not be read aloud, and without objection, item 6A will be forwarded to the next council meeting for action. 7, ordinances, second reading. Ordinance approving and adopting the second amended downtown area economic development project plan pursuant to the Oklahoma Local Development Act. Do we have any speakers on item 7A, Chris?
We have no speakers.
Is there any council discussion?
Move to approve item 7A.
Second.
Lori, will you please call the roll?
Counselor
Yes.
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 Counselor Hal Harper?
Yes.
Counselor Archie?
Yes.
Counselor Dutton?
Yes.
Counselor Bellis?
Yes.
Counselor Bengo?
Yes. All right, item 7A is approved. Council items, councilor announcements, Counselor Archie?
Yes. Okay. So we have a few events I would love to invite the public to. Coming up, next week we're not meeting, so want to make these announcements now. Tuesday, March 24th, I am hosting a town hall at the Zara Regional Library in the meeting room. We're going to start at 6 to 7. Trapper Parks from ODOT will be there. Brant Pitchford from Code Enforcement. We're really excited about IKEA and the timeline for that, but a lot of questions on what is Tulsa Hills going to look like as far as traffic, and then the proposed project, the widening of 81st and 75. So if you want to get a deep dive into that project and the timeline, please come out. Also, Code Enforcement will be there to answer your questions, and so that'll be great. Then that Friday, March 27th, we are having a grand opening of Bales Park. It is Tulsa's inclusive park, and we want to invite people to come out. And I'm looking here. It's going to be at 61st and Union at Bales Park from 3 to 5:30. There will be food and food trucks and resource booths. I'll be there. The mayor will be there. We'll be speaking, and we'll be inviting all of the kids and kids at heart to come out and enjoy the opening of Bales Park. And then finally, if you are a a faith leader in the city of Tulsa. We want to invite you to a special town hall. Myself and the Mayor's Senior Advisor on Homelessness, Emily Hall, will be at the Westside Kingdom Network for a town hall on homelessness in West Tulsa. We will be giving you an update on the state of homelessness, and we'll take questions, and we'll discuss ways that faith communities can partner together to reduce homelessness in Tulsa. And so that's going to be at the Mobile Missions Network, which is in West Tulsa, from 6:30 to 7:30 on Tuesday, March 31st. And so that's all I've got.
All right, thank you. Item 8B, travel authorization for council rules and order of business in the estimated amount of $300,400 for Councilor Hall Harper to travel to Washington, D.C. to attend the Chamber of One Voice D.C. fly-in to be held April 14th through the 16th of 2026. Do we have any speakers on item 8B?
We have no speakers.
Any council discussion?
Move to approve item 8B.
Second.
Lori, will you please call the roll?
Counselor Dector?
Yes.
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 Yes. All right, item 8B is approved. Item 9, new business, there are no items. 10, hearing of appeals, no hearings. Hearing of public comments, none. Item 12, we are adjourned. Thank you.